Everyone, it's Lori, and this is going to be a short video to answer some questions from a couple subscribers. The questions were around settings to help with the speed of editing upon import. So having some presets when you import your images, and also about how to sharpen images for print. So I'm going to cover both of those topics today. So first, let's talk about import. So when you import your images and you click import, you do have the option over here on the right of your screen to apply during import a setting. And this is where you can select a preset. So you can have your own preset that you want to click on. You can also use some of the ones that Lightroom provides. So if you know you want to add some sharpening, some vignetting, a curve, you could do any of that upon import. So if you have user presets set up that you know are specific to the way you like to edit your images, it will speed up your editing work once you select that. So that's a little bit about the presets. Now, presets that I would recommend creating, there are a couple to consider. So when you import an image into Lightroom, and let's just go over to maybe this image. When you import a raw image, it is going to automatically apply some, let's see, under details, it's going to automatically apply the sharpening. So that is a set process that Lightroom has when you load a raw image. So I shoot everything in RAW, and if you do as well, when you import your image, it's going to apply this sharpening, and it's going to look like this. You're going to have a little bit of detail, a 1.0 on radius, which is the it's kind of like the pixels from the edge, and typically 1 is about standard. And then it's going to apply a level 40 for sharpening. This is automatic. So if you do not like having the sharpening added and you want to have it at 0, you would need to create a preset that says import sharpening, and you could select that when you import your images. So that is one thing that you could consider if you like to customize your sharpening. Another thing that you may want to do upon import is if you always like to adjust your highlights and then open up your shadows. A lot of people prefer to do that on every image. You could also have that along with your sharpening as a preset. So a preset that I would use is reducing the sharpening. I always like to add some noise reduction. And then if I wanted to have my highlights pulled down just a little, the shadows open just a little, I could create a preset for that. So over here on the left side of my screen, there's presets. Click the button, the plus sign, create preset, and I could call this import preset. And I want to make sure I have everything selected, so check all. And maybe I'll label this import preset 1, just so in case I create other ones, and then click create. So then when I go to import, I could select that preset, and it's going to automatically do these things for me. It will reduce that sharpening from the standard 40 to 0. So then when I import my image, I can still tweak the highlights and shadows, but it's already set those up for me, as well as it's already changed the sharpening. So that's a little bit about speeding things up for you. Otherwise, I don't think there's any other presets that I would do upon import, unless you know you're going to edit a set of images a certain way. And again, you want to apply that preset. All right, so the second question I got was around sharpening for printing. So when you're sharpening and working on an image, one thing that you may want to consider, let's see if I can get this to move around, is how much detail you want to bring out in your image. Now there's a red line over here in the sharpening, and that's really to give you an alert. If you go that far, it's usually too much in your image. So if I come over here and start sharpening, you can see the detail really popping in this bumblebee. So I'm all the way over though in this kind of red area. So I'm probably going to stick with it, depending on how much I want, maybe in this 50 to 70% range. I'm going to keep the radius at 1.0 and detail. I can increase that and kind of see what it does to the image. Now masking, if you click the Option key as you hold this, you're going to be able to see how that impacts. So if you hold the O key, the Option key, you can see. So this is showing where it's going to apply the sharpening and the detail. So I could bring that just to impact the detail right in my subject versus the background. I may not want all of this background area very sharp. Now this is also an opportunity to go ahead and for me to add some luminance. And again, I can hold the Option key and see how that's impacting and how much I want to impact in my image for the noise. So same thing here, bring that over. Okay, so that's, that's sharpening. Now, what a lot of photographers do is they will sharpen their image to export. So we've got our image now, it's sharpened. Maybe even bring that down just a little bit more. And I'm going to export this image. And then they make a copy and use a virtual copy as their print copy. And then when you are going to print your image, you may want to increase your sharpening a little bit, but also in the print, or if you go to export, there is an option to export for print, sharpen for print, and you can do matte or glossy. And this does make a difference. I usually print on matte paper, so I select that, and I usually do standard. You could do high if you really wanted it super, super sharp, but I think standard does enough. So that would be when you export. But I would go ahead and make sure that you sharpen your image yourself, and then for print, maybe make a copy. Know that you're going to export it as a print image and you're going to sharpen it even more. Usually when you print, you do want to add additional sharpening to really bring out those details versus maybe using it just on a digital program or a digital surface. So that's a little bit about sharpening. You do want to add it when you're finished editing your image, and you always want to combine it with any noise reduction because sharpening can add noise. And just remember that trick with the mask, holding down the Option key, you can really see where that sharpening is being impacted, and you can make those changes as you like. All right, so that's a little bit about sharpening as well as presets when you import your images. Just a quick video today to answer those questions from subscribers. If you have a question you'd like for me to cover in a video, send me a note in comments, or you can always email me. My information is in the description of the video, and I will try to put together a video and send that out. Thanks, everybody.